of the Hispanic population in Hudson County to the shores of Wildwood in New Jersey, the number of Hispanic children without home is on the rise. This has caused a great deal of concern among state officials, and here to tell us about the situation is Denise Smith. She's a statewide foster care recruitment coordinator for the Division of Youth and Family Services. And we are also joined by Ernesto and Marixa McFarland of Elizabeth, New Jersey, a couple that answered the call to become foster parents. It's a pleasure having all of you here on the show.
Thank you.
Denise, tell me about why this month. I understand that this is Foster Parent Month, and you're out recruiting foster parents.
This is Foster Parent Recognition Month, and the reason for this is we want to honor the foster parents we already have. We want to make people aware of the magnificent job they do in caring for our children. But also, we are here because foster parents also make the best recruiters. The best way for people to find out about what it's like to be a foster parent is to meet foster parents who are actually doing it and find out they're real people, the compassion and commitment they have. And that's what we want people to see here today.
You gave me a pin before we went on the air. This is the pin that you're giving foster parents to recognize them for the work that they're doing.
Yes, and we want you
to
honor New Jersey's foster parents by wearing it and showing that you support all they do for our children.
Tell me about your experience with Hispanics in particular. In terms of how willing are they, what are the cultural problems that may prevent them from taking the chance and trying this out, becoming a foster parent?
I think I really have to tell you that my experience is really limited, and that's why we're here. We're here to talk about what we need to do to target the Hispanic community, to make them aware of the fact that we need foster parents, not just for Hispanic children, but for all children, that we need homes specifically for Spanish-speaking children. I think that my job is not to try and get people to become foster parents, but to educate them about the need. And with the help of the McFarlands, I'm hoping that we can start working in the Hispanic community to let them know about foster parenting. I know there's some cultural issues and differences. It is difficult for people to think about taking a child in and having to give it back, the separation and loss, the training, all the questions that most people don't know about foster parents. There's just so many myths, and we're here to educate more than anything.
But tell me, what is the situation with the Latino? I understand that there's some figures that you cannot share with us because there are federal regulations as far as the number of children who are needing of foster parents. But what can you tell me in terms of how many in the Latino community, how many children are there in comparison to how many parents that there are there, potential parents?
Okay, I think what I can tell you is that in New Jersey, right now, the division supervises about 50,000 children. Those are not children necessarily in foster care. About 14% of them are Hispanic. Now, currently, there's somewhere over 6,500 children in foster care. Of that number, I would say about 9% are Hispanic. Because of the federal regulation, the Multiple Ethnicity and Placement Act, we do not place children in homes based on their race. We place children in homes that provide for their needs. We do not recruit Latino homes. We recruit homes for Spanish-speaking children, Latino children. We want, and that's what we're trying to do. Reach out to the communities where the children come from.
It's practically the same thing. When you're looking for a Spanish-speaking home, you're looking for a Latino home in most cases, no?
But the thing is, we define our recruitment effort by the children, not by the people. A Latino couple is not just going to take Latino children. But when we have a child with a special need that doesn't speak any English, we need a foster parent who has the ability to communicate with them. So there is a difference.
I understand. Tell me about your experience, the McFarlands. Welcome to the program. Why did you become involved in, why are you foster parents?
Okay, first of all, I became a foster parent because when I was young, I grew up in Brooklyn. I was raised in Brooklyn. And when I was young, about 12 years old, my mother was a foster mother, and she used to bring these kids to the house and stuff like that. And I was young, and I used to say, what are these kids coming into my home? And as I grew older, I started understanding, and I saw the reward behind it because I see that these kids are grown, they're big now, and they come and see my mother still, you know, and it's really important that you help this home.
So you have foster brothers and sisters out there?
Yes.
And you keep in touch with them, many of them?
Oh, yes. They still come see us. They come visit. As a matter of fact, I had one that came just last week. And it's a great experience, you know. It's a great reward to help other kids.
Okay. Tell me about your own home, with your own children. How do you become involved in this particular recruitment
Okay,
effort
I
now?
just come on board because my husband, they put me in this situation. First, then when he started to talk to me about being a foster parent, right, there's a little paranoid, you know, oh, more kids in the house and everything.
You have kids of your own?
Yes, we have kids. We
How
have
many
four.
kids? You have
We
four of your own
yes.
kids? Okay, and how many others have you taken in?
We have 3 medical fragile kids. We have 3 medical fragile kids foster.
We had a total of 13 kids that we have taken care of.
In 4 years.
In 4 years.
years. Yeah, but this is a great experience. I think it is a real good experience. This feel good. Somebody need you, and you can say, "I'm here to help you," especially when they come kids, you know, because we forgot there's kids. There's a kid, you know, and they need a place to sleep, comfortable, to somebody they've raised the right way they're supposed to be. And, you know, most of the Spanish people, I think that they're a little bit afraid. They're a little bit afraid because they think that, oh, there's a lot of responsibilities, and, oh, I don't want to have diapers in my house, bother me all
But
the
you
time.
see, this is what I don't understand, and this is the bottom line, I think, here.
Yeah.
In the Latino community, you have a situation where you have the extended family, but not only in terms of relatives, in terms of, like, you know, somebody's taking care of somebody's cousin, somebody, abuelita, is taking care of the grandchildren, or, you know, so there is this built-in foster care system that we do naturally. So why can we then, us Latinos, then take that the next step and go through an agency and deal with the children who do really need this help in terms of, like, sometimes, you know, you don't have a sobrinito, a little sobrinito who you need to help, but there are other sobrinitos out there. If you go through the agency, why aren't we doing that, us Latinos?
Okay, that's easy to do. What they gotta do this, first and everything, think about it, if you really want to be a foster parent, there's something that's easy to do. Just give a love, and they want to give it to you, something back, you know? And that's easy to do. You just got to call the number that is 1877 NJ Foster. Right
NJ
there,
Foster,
NJ
yes.
Foster, yes. Right there they have operators that speak Spanish, so there's no problem with that aspect.
Okay, tell me about your own kids, your own foster kids. How do they get along with the other kids? How old are they? Who are they?
Oh, okay. We have a 2-year-old, we have a 1-year-old, and a 6-month-year-old.
Okay. And your own kids are how old?
We have a 15-year-old. I have 2 girls and 2 boys.
So your kids are older?
Yes, they're
So
older.
Not really older because we have one that's 5 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a 5.
So you're almost, but with these younger kids, you're almost starting all over again.
Yeah, there's
Because
like
they're
a
very
start
young.
all over again. Yeah,
Yes.
that's an easy job. That's a fun job. That's a fun job. And also, as kids, you know, they get so along with these kids. With the comment, the moment that the kids, they gotta leave, right? Because they find somebody to adopt it, or they gotta come back with their relatives. My kids, they get upset too. They get sad and say, "No, I don't want the
Well,
babies."
that's
go,
the other
you know?
question. Of
Yeah.
course, and I wanted to ask you, because you must deal with this all the time, the attachment that's built in. Foster parents are temporary parents in most cases. And so what happens is that there's a point that you know that you're going to have to say goodbye to this kid. And it's rough, it's tough.
Yes, it's
How do you deal with that?
Okay, I think sorry. I think
She's
that's
taking
tough.
over.
No, I think that's tough, right? But what we think is that we gotta do the best that we can do right now because they need us. So when these kids leaving, does not feel good because they're leaving, but it's good that we see that we do something good, that we do something positive for this
You
kids.
took them to the next step. You
yes,
made progress.
we take it to the next
Exactly,
step.
yes.
Yeah, so this is the feeling good, you know. You got to separate the kids. You got to be separate for these kids.
But
that's
from the
good.
perspective of the agency, how do you counsel all these foster parents when they're depressed over having lost a child?
What we do is we provide training, in-service training. Well, let me go back a little bit. In order to become a foster parent, you have to go through 24 hours of pre-service training. And that's to help you recognize whether or not you're capable of handling the types of children we have, the problems we have. It's really a self-evaluation, so you will understand if you're ready to make that commitment. And we also talk about this whole issue of separation and loss. And there's also a training after you become a foster parent, you're required to go to training again. In 2 years, you have to complete 9 hours. And separation and loss is one of those trainings. But what most foster parents tell me is how they deal with it is they deal with it by realizing they've done what they can for this child. They have another child that can help. You can't replace children, and we're not trying to replace children, but they get their satisfaction by knowing what they've done for that child. And I think, going back to what you said, in the Hispanic culture, you're already fostering. You're not doing it, and I think that's the most difficult piece is the giving back. I think when you make those commitments in your family to those children, you make those commitments forever. And I think as a foster parent, you do make that commitment forever, but you also understand that you give them all you can now, and they will carry it with them the rest of your life. Somebody said that kids are like a piece of paper. Everybody that touches them makes a difference in their lives. So that period of time you had them, you affected their lives for the rest. And that's what we have to do. We have to educate people about how they make that difference.
You see all these people all the time going abroad to adopt children. And there's so many children here who need a home. And so, you know, tell us about some of the children that you have right now. Describe some of the children that are available, what the ages are like, and, you know, so forth.
Well, right now in New Jersey, we have children who are in need of homes at every age group. For example, the Methallans talked about their special home service providers. They only take children who have special medical problems. They didn't begin that way, but after they've been foster parents for a while, they saw this was a particular need and they took that on. But we have most of the children in foster care, 50% of them are under the age of 5. Only 13% are teenagers. People think that most of them are teenagers. They may be the most difficult to place, but they're the smallest population. We have a lot of sibling groups. We need people who are willing to take more than one child. We have
But why is the need greater now? What is going on? Is it the population is growing,
It's the population, it's the drugs, it's the fact, like you said, families were taking these kids, but especially women who are involved in drugs, they tend to have more children. And you reach a point where a grandmother just can't take anymore.
Okay.
And so there's no more family members. So we have to look to the community. And that's what we're trying to do more of. We're trying to go into the communities where the children come from and make them aware of the problem so we can develop more homes in the areas where the kids come from. So when they do have to be placed, they don't have to be placed so far away from home. So many changes in their community. The other thing we would like to do is get involved in the local churches, and maybe we can go in there and do a recruitment campaign where more than one person in that church decides to be a foster parent. So if we have a sibling group, maybe several members of the same congregation will have those children, so the children will continue to have contact. I think the division's at the point where we realize we need to make community partnerships. We have to look for new ways to help the children that we have in care.
Mm-hmm. Also, let me say something like, the need, they always is there, but the problem is they don't advertise too much this. And I know there's so many people outside, they don't even know what it is foster home, you know? So probably what they're doing now is try to advertise more to let them know to the communities we have this need. The need is always there, but a lot of people, they don't know. So that's why I think that they try to doing now, you know, advertise more and invite to the people to be a foster parent. Don't be afraid. Break the cycle and try, make a difference. That's what we got to do, try to make a difference in these kids.
But when you guys talk to your Latino friends and they know that you're involved with so many children and all that, what is their reaction? Do they say, ooh, you're crazy, or ooh, I'd like to try it?
No, yes. That's not the first reaction, you know.
That's the first
you're crazy, so many kids. But that's not get crazy. That's not get crazy.
Not get crazy.
Talk my husband.
Well, to us, I look at it this way. I have something inside. I always had something inside to help other people. You know, and that inside of me tells me to do something about it. Just don't sit back. And it's a great feeling that you know that you took this child in, he was sick, taking medication. It's like she says, we're ship providers. And the great feeling about it is that you cured this child is better, is not under any medication, and it's strong again, and that's the reward. That's the greatest reward that you can get out of it, is helping other babies and stuff like that.
And also, you know, I think we gotta make a little bit conscious conscience that this is the future of the nation. This is our future. So sometimes, you know, as life always think, oh, I want to do something good for somebody. Why you not take the decision to say, today is the day. Today is the day to start doing a foster parent. Take care of somebody else that they need.
And you do this out in the Hispanic community all the time?
Oh,
or just
yes.
when you're on TV?
No.
No, because you're a great promoter. You should send her out just recruiting
Why do you
people.
think she's here?
No, I'm trying all the time. I'm trying to speak with a lot of Spanish people, but that's why we're here, because I know there's a lot of Spanish people outside. They don't even know what's a foster home.
Well, there's a campaign in Spanish
Yes.
now. I have one
Excuse me.
of the flyers here.
I also like to emphasize
Tell me.
that there's a lot of different cultures coming into this country. Like you have a lot of Portuguese people, you have a lot of Brazilian people. And it would be nice if we can try to get them involved, you know, because they don't have no idea what it is about foster homes. And I know that they can give the love, and they might even have the space. You know, we got to reach out to those people and try to get them involved too.
Okay, well, maybe many of them are watching today. This is the campaign. You have your campaign for recruiting Latino or Spanish-speaking foster parents, and it's in Spanish. And we have some stuff that we're going to show on the screen. But why are you doing? And what is the phone number where people can reach you, Latino parents who may be watching and may be interested in becoming foster parents?
If they call the 1-877-NJ Foster number, they will arrange to have a translator. If they are only Spanish speaking only, we will arrange for translation at that number. So that number is 1-877-NJ Foster.
Okay.
Can I say something?
Please,
in
of course.
Spanish?
You want to say something in Spanish?
Yeah.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so quiero hacer una invitación a todas las personas de habla hispana, de que se atrevan a hacer esto. Esto es un reto bien importante en nuestras vidas.
En español se dice padres de crianza.
Padres de crianza,
Muy
sí.
bien.
Okay, de ayudar a estos niños. Tenemos que tratar la manera de hacer una diferencia. Y juntos yo creo que podremos hacer una gran diferencia.
Okay, now you have to translate that.
Okay, what I tried to say is that I want to try to involve to the Spanish people in this, because we can make a difference together. Together we can try to make a difference. And I know that together we want to make a big difference. We make a difference in so many things.
What do you tell those parents, those even Latino parents who are going back to some other country to adopt a child when there are all these children here who need them?
What I said to those parents, they said that why you gotta look outside in best day, you know, to try to help your country, try to help your kids. I know, you know, that's true. There's another kids in another countries, but let that country handle with that. We handle us problems, you know. I'm not from this country, I'm living this country. But I think we part. In the first moment that you put 1 foot in this country, you are part of this country too. So we gotta try together to look the solution for this.
Can single people be foster parents?
Yes, you don't have to be married. All you have to be is over 21. You can't have a criminal history. You have to be able to your home has to meet the basic life safety standards. You have to be able to support yourself, because foster parents don't get paid. What they receive is a stipend for the care of that child.
And how big is that stipend so people know?
The stipend is based on the age of the child.
And the needs of the child, the medical needs, and et cetera?
There is also some kind of graduated system about some of the needs you have to give to a child. The basic rate begins at $400 and goes up to $550.
A month?
A month, yes. And clothing is also provided, and Medicaid for all the medical expenses.
Now, how do you guys handle when you have a child and you're taking care of a child, but there are times when that child does have visitations with the real parents, and the real parents may be somebody who is a drug addict or somebody who's a criminal, and who really isn't very nice to this child, and then you have to sit with this person. I mean, is that tough?
Drivers then put you in the situation that you have to speak with the parents, right? In that case, I don't like to speak with the fathers, with the parents. But my husband, he's one of
He's the diplomatic one?
Yes, he's always trying, you know, to go over there and try to make to the parents see how beautiful it is, be a parent, how beautiful it is you have a child, and see, you know, every day your child telling different stuff. So my husband, he can talk more
So
about
basically
that.
what you do is you tell them how proud you are of their children, and you tell them how they should be feeling.
Exactly. what we do sometimes, like we take pictures of them. We make sure that it's very important that when we receive a child, I think it's very important that they go home with an album with pictures, like a normal child. Because you could figure this child, when he gets older, he's going to wonder, did I ever had a birthday? Did I ever had a cake and things like that? Memories. And pictures are one of the things that give them a lot of memories. And I think that's very important that they carry that with them. And that brings up their self-esteem and things like that. And it's rewarding to help other kids.
Yeah, but about the parents, that he said how you can handle this with the parents.
Oh, with the parents, I try to talk to them. You know, I'm not negative. I try to be positive. Even if they're negative with me and everything like that, at least I know that I did my part.
Do some of these parents have some resentment against you because they no longer have the kids and you have their kids?
Yes, we had some cases where they got resentments. You know, it's, you try to, that's why those kids are in foster home, because it all comes from the parents. Whatever the parents create, that's what the child is going to be affected with. And we try to deal with it, and I always try to look at it on a positive side.
And that's part of the counseling that you have to give foster parents, how to deal with the other parents.
Yes. And how to understand how to deal with kids when they come back from visits, because kids are affected by what happens. I mean, no child wants to
Spends a weekend with the parents, comes back, has an attitude?
Yeah, they act out. That's part of all the training that we give them during PATH, is trying to make them understand why a child behaves the way they have, and separate the behavior from the child, and understand that a child's history affects how he acts.
Yes.
But for many of these kids, again, the foster parents, and I'm sure for some of the kids that your mother raised, your mother is probably the best thing that ever happened to them.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So they do have those memories of you and your family and all of that.
Exactly. Yes.
And that's why you're in it, because you want to have those memories as well with your family.
Oh, yes, because I think it's real rewarding. You know, I like to do things that are positive, you know, especially helping people that are in need. You know, and I get the satisfaction of helping that child or whoever it is.
So where are you going with this campaign? What are your target areas?
Well, we're targeting some of the major Hispanic communities, like, for example, in Jersey City, Perth Amboy, Camden, Vineland. We're working with...
So that's where you're taking the Spanish language literature?
No, we're taking the Spanish language literature everywhere. But when I talk about targeted recruitment, I'm talking about picking some smaller areas to work with. We started 2 years ago, and we did a real broad-based campaign. We put literature out everywhere. We've advertised in Spanish in all the local Spanish newspapers and all that. But now I think we need to take smaller chunks and look at communities and talk to communities.
And you're talking to community organizations?
Community organizations. We have ideas. And that's, you talked about Maritza as a recruiter. I met her 2 weeks ago, not even 2 weeks ago. And that's what we're looking at. Foster parents are our best recruiters because they do it. They know what it's all about. People see her on the street and see her with all her kids, and they're going to ask questions. And based on what she says, that's what's going to have a major impact. We have this major recruitment and advertising campaign. We're spending a lot of money, but the number one reason, even after 2 years of all this advertising, is personal contact. It's talking to people who do the job. And we're encouraging foster parents. Now, you know, we asked a lot of them. Now we're asking more. We're also asking them to become recruiters, to go out there and actively help us. And when we go into a community, if we have foster parents there where people have real questions that I can't answer, I've never been a foster parent. Maritza and Ernesto can.
No, if all foster parents are like them, I want to be adopted. I mean, they're great people.
But foster parents are great people, and that's the other message we want to put out there. That he talked about it's something from within. People ask me all the time, what makes a good foster parent? I can't tell you, because it is something from within. That's why we can't recruit foster parents. We have to educate people about the need. We have to repeat the message. The more they hear the message, it will come from inside them, whether they're a foster parent or not.
And you see all these people out there, all these couples who are trying to have children and cannot. and who are doing all kinds of things to try to adopt a child abroad. And again, these are the people I think you should be reaching out to, because these people have, you know them, I've met them, and they have a need to be with children. They want to raise children, and they don't do anything about it.
And also people, they get retired too. They already retired from this job, right? They don't find nothing to do. So they can have like a little kid, in the house. They want to be company. They want to do doing something great. So I think this is a job for everybody to can do.
We need the number again. Tell us the number again so that we can put it up on the screen so that everybody can write it down and give a call.
It's 1-877-NJ-FOSTER.
1-877-NJ-FOSTER.
I have to also mention our website address. Our website address is, all of a sudden I can't remember it.
It starts with
www.njfostercare.org.
See, I knew that. We're out of time, but I thank you very much. Let me tell you, as a Latino, I'm proud of the work that you're doing.
And thank you to you to give an opportunity.
It's a real pleasure to have you on the program, and good luck with this campaign and this effort. It's really worthwhile.
Okay,
thank you for being on the program. I'm Miguel Perez, and we'll see you next week on another edition of Images, Imagenes. Hasta pronto.